AA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
JJ Traley accidentally starts a crash that eliminates Winford Bradford Rutherford, Bobby Carboni, Michael Cartrip, Johnny Blamer, Floyd Movelhill, Sterling Carlin, and himself. Now they'll all be out for the Dinoco 400 in 2006. They're not the only ones. Brian Vickers got sick the morning of the race, and now he'll have to sit out. Now onto the 43 cars that actually qualified. And oh no! The car that starts at pole position is Chicax, who has no shot of winning the Piston Cup. And on his outside is Lee Jr., who will somehow start in second position. How? And that was really long. Row 2 has Cal Weathers the rookie and Billy Oilchanger, who will be calling a career after this race. Row 3 has the Rocket Ryan Newcar and Greg Beeple to his outside. Row 4 has Dale Earnhardt Jr. and to his outside another rookie, Brick Yardley. Row 5 has Mark Carton, who will be going part-time next season, and Kevin Shiftwright to his outside, hoping to win a second race this season. Row 6 has Sage Van Der Spin and Jeff Gorvette, a two-time Piston Cup champion. Row 7 has Kyle Bushtire and Ernie Gearson to his outside, looking for another win. Row 8 has JGR teammates Denny Carlin and Tony Gasworth. Row 9 has Kurt Bushtire and Kevin Carvick to his outside. He's hoping to win this race as well. Row 10 has Elliot Draftler and why is Lightning McQueen all the way back, starting in 20th? Row 11 has Riley replacing Winford Bradford Rutherford, and to his outside, the 2000 Piston Cup champion and 2002 Florida 500 winner, Chuck Armstrong. Row 12 has Casey Corner, who won his first two races this season, and Murray Clutchburn, who's trying to break his winless streak. Row 13 has Hall Ingus, who's led 6 laps all season, and Carl Edwards to his outside. Row 14 is Krusty Rotor and Mike Yankee Jr., who is the 4th rookie in this race. Row 15 is Todd Marcus and Darren Ledfoot, who's really good at the Motor Speedway of the South. Row 16 is Martin Carks Jr. and Clint Bokar. 2 more rookies. Row 17 is Dale Carrett and Jamie McCarry, who only DNQ'd once this season. Row 18 is Eugene Komareski and Joe Brakecheck. Neither have done too much this season. Row 19 is Missy Motocross, Claude Scruggs won't be complaining, and Cortland replacing Johnny Blamer. Row 20 is Casey Gears, who's been surprisingly good this season, and David Gillicar to his outside. Row 21 has Reed Sorencar and Jeff Burnton, not qualifying very well. And starting in 43rd is Matt Karzif, who needed a past champions provisional to qualify for this race. And here are some of the cars that didn't qualify for this race. Now onto the race itself. Chuck Hicks will lead for the first 2 laps, unfortunately, but Lee Jr. will take the lead from him on lap 2, but oh no! Now he's angry! The mean green car has to be second as of the second lap. When he wrecks Lee Jr., who'll have to finish 43rd this race. Billy Oilchanger will take the lead in his final race, leading until lap 14, but then the mean green car will retake the lead for himself. But on lap 18, Cal Weathers would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 23, where Jeff Gorvette would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 27, where Brick Yardley, a rookie, will take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 31, where Murray Clutchburn, a car that's been around for a long time, would take the lead from him, leading for 5 laps before Lightning McQueen would take the lead from him. He'd lead all the way until lap 58, but Chuck Hicks was 17th on lap 38 when he wrecked David Gillicar, Hall Angus, Joe Brakecheck, Cortland, and Riley. Why? Matt Karzif, who started 43rd, would be in first from lap 58 to 63, where Cal Weathers would retake the lead. He'd lead for 6 laps before Kevin Shiftwright, another car who comes from a prestigious racing family, would take the lead. But on lap 70, Todd Marcus would take the lead from him. He'd only lead for that lap because Chuck Hicks is second as of that lap. When he wrecks Todd Marcus, right, and then he takes the lead, leading until lap 89. You're in the lead on lap 80. Why are you wrecking cars? And then he wrecks Misty Motocross, Ernie Gearson, Casey Gears, Krusty Rotor, and Reed Sorencar. Why? Bob Cutlass's response is, Daryl, it seems that Chick Hicks is still wrecking cars even though he's in the lead. And Daryl Kartrup says, well, I'm glad the Piston Cup docked him 1,000 points at the start of the season because he can't win the Cup this time. And Claude Scruggs' response is this. I hope he actually does that in the 2007 Piston Cup season. Kevin Carvick will take the lead on lap 89, leading into lap 92, where Chuck Armstrong would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 2 laps, but Jeff Burton would jump over cars and go from 20th to 17th position. How? But a car that would gain positions normally is Darren Ledfoot. He'd lead for 11 laps before Lightning McQueen would retake the lead. He'd lead into lap 118, but unfortunately, Mean Green Car would try to wreck a car on lap 118. Why? And then he'd take the lead for the next 20 laps. But luckily, Mark Carton would take the lead from him, leading until lap 139, where Chuck Armstrong would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 8 laps before Tony Gassworth would take the lead from him. He'd lead all the way until lap 175, but unfortunately, Jamie McCarry would be out because of an engine failure on that lap. Lap 176 has Greg Beeple taking the lead. He'd lead until lap 183, but unfortunately, the Mean Green Car's 5th on that lap, where he wrecks Ryan Newcar, who goes airborne on lap 183. Why? Cal Weathers would take the lead on lap 184, leading for 2 laps before Brick Yardley, another rookie, would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 192 before another green car, Darren Ledfoot, would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 208, where Chuck Armstrong would retake the lead. He'd lead until lap 216, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 223, where Kevin Shiftwright would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 5 laps before Dale Carrett would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 229, but unfortunately, Chuck Hicks is 2nd as of that lap, where he wrecks Dale Carrett. Why did you wreck him, Mean Green Car? And he's actually mean because he said something mean to Dale Carrett. Why is he not suspended? And Kyle Bushtire would take the lead after the restart, leading for 14 laps before the Mean Green Car would fail to wreck him on lap 244. As this is going on, Lightning McQueen would take the lead, and he'd lead for the next 4 laps before Brick Yardley would take the lead from him. He'd lead for a full 10 laps before the Mean Green Car would try to wreck Lightning McQueen on lap 258. But Lightning McQueen starts driving backwards. How? And then he'd take the lead and lead into lap 265. Daryl Kartrup's reaction is, I don't believe it! How did Lightning McQueen take the lead driving backwards? Then Bob Cutlass says, but it does mean that Chick Hicks fails to wreck him again, Daryl. And then Tony Gassworth would take the lead on lap 265, leading into lap 273, where his teammate Denny Carlin would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 2 laps before another rookie, Cal Weathers, would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 281, where Greg Beeple would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 9 laps before Chuck Hicks would take the lead. Why? But on lap 297, Matt Korseth would take it away from him, and then lead until lap 304, where Kevin Shiftwright would take the lead from him. He'd lead another 5 laps, but unfortunately, the Mean Green Car Chick Hicks is 8th as of lap 305, when he wrecks Chuck Armstrong and Eugene Kobareski. Why? Tony Gassworth would take the lead on lap 309 and then lead for the next 8 laps before the Mean Green Car would take the lead from him. Luckily on lap 324, Tony Gassworth would retake the lead. He'd lead for 5 laps before Mean Green Car once again takes the lead, leading until lap 330. Bob Cutlass has this to say, Daryl, it seems that Chick and Tony Gassworth are fighting, but nobody's winning. Then Daryl Kartrup says, I've seen crazier, but I hope nobody gets hurt. But then, the Mean Green Car would somehow avoid needing to go to the garage after Tony Gassworth pushed him into the wall. He wouldn't keep the lead because Brick Yardley takes it, and then he'd lead into lap 338. On that lap, the mean green car tries to wreck Brick Yardley, but fails. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would take the lead, and then he'd lead all the way until lap 369. On lap 356, he had a 10-second lead! How does any car have a 10-second lead and then lose it at some point? Unfortunately, the next car to lead laps is Chickx, who will lose the lead on lap 389 to Kevin Shiftwright. On lap 390, Matt Kenseth would take the lead and then lose the lead with 7 to go. But then the mean green car would lead for 6 more laps. Why? Darren Leadfoot would take the lead on lap 399, but then lose it to the mean green car, unfortunately. And then he takes the white flag. Oh no! Bob Cutlass says, coming into turn 3, Chick Hicks is hogging the entire track. What is Lightning McQueen gonna do? But then Daryl Cartrip says, I don't believe it, Bob! Lightning McQueen's used the wall while Chick is trying to wreck him! And on turn 3, Lightning McQueen would take the lead, and he'd take the checker flag, which makes him the winner of the 2006 Dinoco 400, with the mean green car Chickx finishing second in this race, Darren Leadfoot third, Matt Kenseth finishing 4th, and Kevin Shiftwright rounding out the top 5. Cal Weathers would finish 6th, Tony Gasworth 7th, Brick Yardley 8th, Greg Beeple 9th, and Kyle Bushtire rounding out the top 10. All of this means that Lightning McQueen is the winner of the 2006 Piston Cup. This win was a popular one, as Lightning McQueen beat the mean green car Chickx, who you'll notice is missing from the top 40, because remember, he started with negative 1,000 points at the start of the season. Matt Kenseth would finish second, failing to win a second championship because he finished 3 positions lower than Lightning McQueen. Cal Weathers would finish third, making this season the second season in a row where the best rookie would finish third in points. Another rookie, Brick Yardley, would finish 4th in points, and Kevin Carvick would finish 5th. If Kevin Carvick just beat Brick Yardley, he would have finished 4th. Tony Gasworth finished 6th. Denny Carlin in 7th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would finish 8th, the same as his number. Kevin Shiftwright had a drop-off in form at the start of the season, but got it back to finish 9th in the 2006 Piston Cup season. Jeff Gorvette only barely makes the top 10. Casey Corner, despite his 2 wins, will finish 11th in 2006. Mark Carton finished 12th in his final full-time season. Greg Beeple would finish 13th. Jeff Burnton would improve his form, finishing 14th this season. Kyle Bushtire would finish 15th, above his older brother. Mike Yankee Jr. would be the 4th rookie in the top 20, with Chuck Armstrong right below him. Carl Edwards would finish 18th. Kurt Bushtire had a slow start to his first season at Pancake Shiftwright Racing, finishing 19th, and Clint Bokar would round out the top 20, being the 5th rookie in the top 20, beating Murray Clutchburn by 7 points, who he finished 21st. Casey Guerra surprisingly finished 22nd, and Martin Kirks Jr. finished 23rd, another rookie. Eugene Kobareski would finish 24th, above Ryan Newcar, who surprisingly had a bad season. Sage Vanderspin only finished 10 points behind Ryan Newcar in 26th. Ernie Gearson would finish 27th, right above Billy Oilchanger, who will finish 28th in his final season. Hollingus! This is just sad. He came 5th in 2005, but he only led 6 laps all season this season, and finished 29th, with barely any top 10s. Dale Cart would finish 1 point below him in 30th. Todd Marcus qualified for only 33 races this season, but he finished 31st. Elliot Draftman finished 32nd, having a drop-off in form. Brian Vickers did alright, finishing 33rd. In 34th is Misty Motocross, who once again finishes in the top 40 due to the fact that she can qualify for all 36 races. Someone who didn't was Jamie McCarry, who DNQ'd once, qualifying for the other 35 races of the season. His only DNQ, he finished 45th in qualifying. In 36th position is Joe Brakecheck, who DNQ'd 3 times. Krusty Rotor, who finishes 37th, was quite consistent this season out of the races he qualified for, which was 32 of them. In 38th is Darren Leadfoot, who qualified for the fewest races out of every car in the top 40, only qualifying for 20 of them. In 39th is another rookie, Reed Sorencar, who was also pretty good at the start of the season, but started to fall off closer to the end, DNQing 3 of the last 10 races of the season. And in 40th position is the 8th rookie of the top 40, and the last one, JJ Traley, who DNQ'd twice, including the Dinoco 400, where he wrecked himself out. And he beat Bobby Carboni, the car that finished 41st, by only 2 points! 2006 really has been a good year for rookies, with 8 of them finishing top 40. But most importantly, Chicax is not here! Hooray! Thanks to his points deficit that he had at the start of the season. He did finish with a positive number of points, which means he collected at least 1,000 points. But he's basically next to the bottom.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
When I said near the bottom, I mean that Chicax finished very close to dead last, as in right above cars that didn't qualify for any race, and probably only a couple cars that qualified for one race and probably finished dead last. And the 2007 Florida 500 video probably won't be coming out for a while, but I will start production on it soon enough.